how good was that? Pretty amazing. I'm Gary Graff. Thank you guys for coming out to this. This is a special kind of thing. You don't see movies. Thanks, Mom. You don't get to see movies in this kind of situation. So thank you all for having the good taste to be with us tonight. And I heard Robert ask, how many of you have seen the Zombies live, maybe at the Royal Oak? Okay. Anybody want to fess up to seeing that original package tour back in 64, 65? I don't see anyone raising their hands. All right, well, we want to talk a little bit about the movie, and to do that, I think it's time to bring back on Robert and Neil. Come on out, guys. The Neil reference was to see who was paying attention. Colin.
Thank you, guys. He's gonna kneel because he's Neil McCarthy.
There you go. Like I said, we were seeing who was paying attention while the film was on. Well, great performance.
Thank you.
And thank you for bringing this to us, Colin. I'm not the only one who was sitting here during that performance thinking, "Holy crap!" I mean, as a man of a certain age, how do you still sound that good? What's been the care and feeding of the voice to stay at this level?
Well, I practice a lot. I've got some. I put these guys through torture every night because I've got these exercises that are really sound very painful, and they have to listen to them every night. So I do it before sound check, and I do it before the show. And I mean, that's basically it. Then just look after yourself. Try and, when you're young and you're on the road and you're partying all the time and lots of drinking, and as you get older, that all has to go. Lots of sleep, sensible food, eating, and exercises.
Behaving yourself, in other words.
You do. It can get dull, but it's essential.
You mentioned it's a true story. Tell the story behind Caroline Goodbye.
Caroline Goodbye. Well, it's one of the first songs I ever wrote, and I always intended to change the name. And if anyone can think of a name that will fit, I'd be very grateful if you would tell me, but it's a little bit late as the song was written about 60 years ago. But I was going to change the name. It was my girlfriend. And she went on to be a Bond girl. Someone was just saying that back there. I don't know what she was doing with me, but she became a Bond girl. And she's very glamorous. And she went to do a film in Spain. And she sort of never came back, if you see what I mean. So that was the end of that. But I got a song out of it. I mean, you've got to look at the positive side of these things. And I was going to change the name, but I just couldn't. Can you think of another name?
I'm trying to just now.
No, I can't. So that's where it comes from. It's just line for line what happened. I got dumped, and I tried to make it a bit more poetic.
Which Bond film?
The Spy That Loved Me, and I can't remember what her name is it's Caroline, is her real name, and she's up in a helicopter, Roger Moore, it's a Roger Moore one, and she's up in a helicopter, and she's a baddie, and while she's up there, she gets obliterated. And I really like that bit.
Serves her right for not coming back.
Yeah, serves her right.
Robert, tell the story behind getting mad in that performance into the movie.
The Caroline
Goodbye.
Well, it was just, I sort of mentioned it earlier, but it was just that's one of my favorite songs that Colin's ever performed, and so my hope was he would somehow we could get it in the film. There's a lot of songs from one year in the movie, which is a great album. So happy that we got to explore the careers of everyone after the Zombies broke up. So there's a lot in this movie. You guys saw the film, so there's a lot in it. It's a long career, so 90 minutes for 60 years is a hard thing to kind of jam. But it was important to hit some of the highlights right throughout the career. But my hope was Colin would play that song. I said it earlier, but he said come play. And my hope was that we could make music. It was fun to play with you. And sort of in a way inspired this idea of taking the movie on tour and then getting to jam together, to make music together was a really nice idea. It would have been obviously cool. I know that the zombies are gonna hold on doing tours as an official zombie show, but however we can get zombies music in our lives in a live kind of way, I'll take it. So if it means a jam session unplugged, we'll do it, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Yes. By the way, I know it's going to get late tonight, so thank you guys for hanging out with us.
To be rhetorical, why a movie about the zombies?
I mean, we have to make a zombies movie, right? I love the zombies so much. One of my favorite bands of all time. It got me into songwriting and wanting to start a band. So I just felt like I started a band called Rooney in high school. I spent many years, thank you so much, thank you, oh my God. Put the spotlight on you. Spotlight moment, everyone, 5-minute intermission. So I toured for many years, a lot of similar storylines that you saw on the screen tonight, being a band, as a young band. But I started directing movies, because I grew up wanting to make movies, so I sort of paused the active music life, started directing films. And these were scripted films, feature narratives, so I'm working on a screenplay. My first documentary, I wanted it to be something that felt close to home for me, so I wanted it to be a music film. And I was talking to a friend of mine about why isn't there a zombies documentary? And he said, well, I know the guys, would you want to kind of pitch the idea to Chris and Cindy, the managers, and then meet Rob and Colin? So that's what happened. This like kind of led to, it just was a snowball thing where you pitch an idea, you lead from the heart, you pour your heart out, and people receive it hopefully, right? But yeah, it's just such an amazing band, and like it's about time there's a movie that tells the story. So,
Colin, when it came to you, what were you thinking?
Well, I mean, the incredible thing with Robert is that he comes from not only a film background, but he's also a very accomplished musician as well. And originally we had a Zoom meeting with Rod Argent, myself, and Robert, and it was very obvious that he really cared for the zombies. He understood how musicians thought, and he understood how the music business worked. And we were enamored with his idea from the beginning. The one thing we worried about was there enough film from back in the 60s? Because people didn't film like they do now, and that was a concern. But Robert found clips of film that I had no idea existed. And when I first saw the film, it's so funny. First of all, it's very strange seeing 60 years of your life compressed into an hour and a half. It's quite an emotional experience. But to actually see some of these clips when we were very young that I didn't know existed, it was a very strange experience, but in an enjoyable one. And I think Robert, what do you think, guys? Robert, I think he's made a wonderful project.
Most important, if you're going to make a zombies movie, it's important that, the hope is that the band really likes the movie because it's about their lives, and then the hope is that the audience really connects to the film. So I'm proud that people seem to really connect to the film, and it's a good feeling. And with this incredible amount of music that the guys have made, to try to make a film that sort of lives up to some of what we all want it to be as far as the level of what the music is, would be where you try to get to with the film. But there wasn't a lot of footage, as Colin said. It wasn't like there was a camera crew following them around everywhere. So we had to just figure out clever ways to take you back in time while they're telling these stories, to try to recreate these moments. But we had a few gems. Chris White had a couple really key pieces of content that we were able to get our hands on, archival. And it was really helped us find a way to take you there as an audience, so it was helpful for us.
Was there a holy grail find? Something that was like, it would be great if we had this and it turned up?
I mean, there was, for me, the clip of the guys playing at the youth hall was so special. Like to see them really in that time of when the stories they're talking about coming up and winning the battle of the band and all that stuff. Like to see them at that age rocking out and they're having the best time, it really was such the right thing to find. That was like a moment for us. But you know, it's tough making a documentary because you have to clear every photo. So we had a lot of photos in the movie that were in like a test cut that we had to remove from the film because we didn't know who took the photo. So it's really tricky making a doc. Like that's the tragic part is when you have something you really need, but you just don't know who owns it. So you have to take it out of the movie. It's a bummer.
There's a nice piece of directorial sleight of hand in here that I think goes by a lot of people, and it did me the first time I saw it, which was the jukebox jury. I think
It's so cool. It's amazing, right? Yeah.
I can talk about how you did that with George Harrison.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh no, I was going to ask you how, but you know, you're seeing what you think is the actual footage, but you did something there filmmaking-wise with it that we don't realize it's not just the clip.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the beauty of the edit process of making a movie is really where films are made. You know, if anyone here is ever thinking of making a documentary, you know, it's an editor's kind of thing. You know, like the way you cut a doc really shapes the story. So you can shoot great footage, but if it doesn't cut properly, it doesn't really make sense. You're gonna have a hard time watching the scene. But yeah, and you're talking about how we were able to use images that were not exactly from that sequence and cheat them in to create a moment that felt authentic to the audience, which was as if we are seeing what we're being told is happening. But that happens a lot in the movie. I mean, there's a lot of footage where they're talking about going on tour, and we cut to this great archival of like a bus going down the street and someone running with a guitar. That great sequence where they went on the road, that all those bands were on tour together, they're singing on the bus together. Some of that footage was from other tours that were not that tour that they're talking about. So a doc it's sort of like making a movie is like a magic trick where you're creating an illusion for the audience to kind of lose themselves in. But a doc is very similar. I mean, we're telling a story, we're following characters, we feel an emotional hook. Even though it's unscripted, it still, to me, should be a cinematic experience. It's still a movie. It's not a PBS special, this is a film, right? So
I think some of my favorite scenes in the movie were where the four of you were in Abbey Road again, and you were at Rod's house. What was that like?
Well, it's always good to get back together again, but I mean, the strange thing is we do meet up fairly regularly. I live very close to Rod, so I see him all the time, so that's not, I mean, it's special. I'm going to be careful how I choose my words. It's special every time I see him, but it's not like special I only see him every 5 years. I mean, I'll be seeing him as soon as I get back. Hugh lives in a little island off of Spain, so I don't see him very often. And Chris lives on the other side of the country, but it's always lovely when we get back together again, and we can reminisce about those magical times, the good times and the not so good times, but I mean, you know, time takes the edge off all the disappointments and everything, and the bad times that aren't so important. It's just fun when we get together. We just laugh about all those times. It's great. And it's good to get back to Abbey Road. It's such a magical place.
Absolutely. There's a sweetness, you know, through that relationship. I think this film has a real sweetness to it that you don't often get in rock band documentaries, where you don't often get four members together.
Want to hang out.
First of all, how did you? I'm sure you were conscious of that and wanted to capture that here.
Yeah, no, that became the theme of the film, which was friendship, hope, the love of music, keeping them together. You know, the glue that was the love of music. I think it's really refreshing to see a film about a band that actually makes it through the hard times and maintains a friendship. That's not, usually bands hate each other, that's right, they don't ever want to talk to each other. Which makes sense, you know, families sometimes don't want to talk to each other too. But I think there's just something about these guys that the chemistry just works. Even musically, I know we're in a music city, so there's a lot of musicians here probably. But, you know, some people just play a certain way together that creates a sound that's hard to recreate. And the way that Hugh plays drums and Paul played guitar, whatever it was that they did just kind of worked and created a feeling in their music that I think we all feel very connected to. But I think that feeling and that connection musically carries through to their friendship beyond music, you know? So it's very genuine. Colin, we laughed about it, but movies, you know, good stories have conflict in them, right? Like you guys watch a TV show, there's a conflict moment, and then you want to come back and see what's going to happen. I don't know if I was looking for conflict between people because I thought if the band broke up, maybe there was probably some conflict, right? If these guys are going to get in a room and say, let's not do this anymore, someone's probably like, you're crazy, screw you, like, you know, there's probably a fight or something that breaks out. But everyone was just like, oh yeah, like, he wanted to go away, so that was that. It's like a part of me just wants to grab them and like shake them and go, are you crazy? So, but that's just the personalities, right, that you're dealing with. And Colin's like, you know, he's sitting right here, so it's hard to gush over him. And we hang out a lot,
Gosh,
right?
go on.
I can gush.
Please gosh.
Well, just know that just like what you saw in the film is really the Colin that I know. And I think everyone really feels, I felt very close to Colin. When people see the film, I think they feel closer to the guys. And I think that's a really important thing to take away from a movie, is feeling close to the subjects in a way that music can't really deliver on. And you know, bands tour and people go to shows and meet bands and feel a connection. And that's one side of connection. There's a deeper connection even beyond that. And I think the film gives us a little closer look at the humans behind the music that we all love.
So in the end, Colin, why don't you guys hate each other like a normal band does?
I can't really answer that, but I'll tell you there were a few bumps in the road. I was just thinking while you were talking there, I'll try and say this really quickly. We're in Chicago, it's the mid-60s, and Rod and I always shared a room, and we used to fight, Rod and I, and I wanted the TV on. It was a little weeny black and white TV like that. I don't really like TV, but I wanted it on, he wanted it on. On, off, on, off. Then he careered across the room at me, and like a rugby tackle, there were these twin beds, old-fashioned twin beds with wooden struts. He crashed me onto this wooden bed, and it snapped in half. And suddenly, the television wasn't so important. We're thinking, we've just broken this bed in half. So we nipped out, but remembering we've got really big hit records at this time. So we nipped out and we bought some glue and some string. And we glued it and we put string together. And who knows whether it's going to hold, but then we got a bit of luck. The manager of the hotel kicked us out of the hotel because there were like 300 or 400 girls running around the corridors. As it was in the 60s, it was mad. 300 or 400 girls running around. It's wonderful, wonderful. Running around the hotel looking for the zombies. And he said, well, we can't live like this and the hotel can't function. I was thinking, thank God for that. And kicked us out and we left the bed tied together with glue. And I like to think it was a honeymoon couple who were in there next. But I don't know for sure. But so there were bumps in the road, you see. We had this fight and the bed snapped in half. And there were lots of things like that.
I just think it's amazing that they're the band that breaks something in the hotel room and then fixes it. Usually that's not the rock and roll answer.
But isn't that what Rudy does when you guys trash a hotel room, you put it back together again? Isn't that what Rudy does? You put it back together again and make sure everything's clean?
I mean, maybe. I think it's a different time too, I guess. All these stories are they're so of that time. But that was, this movie, we debuted the film at South by Southwest, and it was really long, because it was still a rough cut, and we cut 20 minutes out of the movie after South by. So we were trying to get it down to what would be like more in the running time of the doc. We're still maybe a little longer than some docs are, but this was where we could get it. But there's hopefully when we put this special like Blu-ray collector's edition out, there'll be a lot of that bonus interview footage that we have. But like the story Colin just told, there's so many great stories that we got that are so special. So.
And you anticipated a question, so everybody's going to leave here tonight wanting to own this.
Oh yeah.
So what's the timing?
It'll be available by the end of the year. So I think pre-orders will go live in the next few months, and then it'll go out like around November, December. So this year, yeah. And the movie hits on demand on July 22nd, so it'll be out everywhere on demand on the 22nd, which is cool.
And we should mention too, if you enjoyed it tonight, as we know you did on Saturday night, Veeps.com will be the show from London. And I think it stays up there for a week or something.
Yeah, it'll be, so we to take a movie on tour is very unusual, and then to do a live show is a cool kind of idea to be able to share in this experience in a music venue. So we're gonna stream that experience out of Los Angeles on Saturday at the Bellwether Theater downtown LA. If you guys want to tune in, that'll be this weekend, Saturday night on the 19th. That's right, yeah.
Colin, as we finish up here, I think people want to know, how's Rod doing?
Rod's doing really well. I spoke to him earlier on today, and he's doing really, really good. He's definitely not going to tour anymore, and I think he's made the right decision. But he is doing really, really well. He's writing and he's playing, and he's back to his old self. So it's all good news. It's all good news.
You know what's really cool? I was as a fan of the Zombies, if I can say it, it's not a secret. It was said at a show, but although there aren't going to be live zombie shows, there's new music coming, right? You're working on new music as the Zombies, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, Rod is writing new songs, and so we'll be doing that. And I'm also starting a solo album as well, because the Zombies are not going to play, so I have to. Well, I don't have to, but I really would like to reactivate my solo career, and I've kept it going all the time. So I'll be out there treading the boards more on my own and more exposed, I guess. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be exciting.
I think the beauty too of getting to see the film together is hopefully just going back and discovering these songs and listening to all this music. I have friends who've seen the film and just are listening to everything Zombies all day long now. So, but there's so many great solo records, the Alan Parsons work that Colin did, right? Which I wish we had that in the film. Argent. There's so many spin-off projects and collaborations that we can all go and enjoy, and so many new albums and songs for us all to enjoy. So it's exciting.
And you can also connect the dots to what Paul did in the music industry, and,
yeah, that's right.
And what Chris and what Hugh did. And let's finish on this. What does it say about the Zombies and about the five of you that all of you stayed in music and were really contributors to music even after the band?
Well, I think it says that everyone in the band really loved music and wanted to be associated in any way that they could be with music. And I hope that if there are any young musicians here tonight, or just people in general, if you do get knockbacks, as the Zombies had, I hope that you'll take inspiration from this film and realise that if you just keep on keeping on, it all comes right in the end. And I know that Rob and I agree on this, that we hope you'll see this film as a film of hope, and that if you just stay true to yourself, it will all work out in the end, I promise you.
Well, listen, thank you for bringing the film, thank you for performing, thank you for talking. Come back again sometime. And once again, we have Robert and Colin, and the other guys from
Thank you, Detroit. You guys are awesome. See you again. Thank you, guys.
Whoa, bro, don't try to run off with my Blu-ray player now. Dude, that Blu-ray player can fetch some real money in about 40 years. This is the Blu-ray player used on the Zombie run. More like, hey, this Blu-ray player works. I just don't have it right now. Yeah, it's just easier to get you guys in situations so you don't lose anything on your tour.
Toads of the goats.
Hey man, I figured it's good trying to pronounce you and shit.
There you go. Good. If you want to sleep, it's there. Is the disc still in here?
Yes.
Should be. Yeah.
See, this is my digital brain thinking.
Ask that guy. No, you good.
Blu-ray technician. This is your get an extra paycheck.
I'm very skilled. That's why they pay me the big
Get
bucks.
an extra paycheck. I'm the Blu-ray technician.
See?
Dude,
I tell you.
it was not like I mean, well, the thing is with an Xbox tray and a PS5 tray, they would open up if you did that.
Oh, it's one of these. I didn't even realize. Just I've never actually.
Dude, it was my first time with Nintendo. I think that's what it is.
Oh, look at this.
Feels so naked.